Hey, welcome back here to another episode of the Central PA Pour. I am Brett.
I'm Dave.
I'm Kevin.
And as you can see, we are missing one today. Ben is not with us. He is currently moving into Kevin's house. They sold their house and are looking for their new house, which I think they settle on in a few days. So they're in the process of doing their final move. So Ben, shout out to you. We're going to miss you here, buddy. But we do have some special guests sitting here in the Essex Home Brew Works brewing and recording room. So I'm going to let these gentlemen sitting off to our left here just introduce themselves, who they are, about their company, and where they can find you. Welcome, gentlemen.
Welcome. Thank you.
So tell us who you are.
I'm Tim Wickard. Never really was a big beer fan until a few years ago when my good buddy next to me here, he turned me on to the craft beer industry and got me hook, line, and sinker. And I've been a diehard for craft beer ever since. We were just discussing our first kit brew, and we did it on a mid-April. We did our first beer together. Rod had been brewing for many years prior. This was my first time. So we did a blueberry wheat beer, and it was ready for Memorial Day weekend.
Oh,
so we did 1/6 of 5 gallons of it, and it all went away on Memorial Day weekend as well. And we just poured it on at that point and decided to buy our first brew set, and here we are.
All right. So
in deep.
What's the company you're with?
Back Porch Brewing.
Back Porch Brewing.
And we named ourselves that because we're literally brewing on Rod's back porch.
So, all right. So we know Tim. Rod, introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name's Rod Harman. I do most of the recipes, and we both do the brewing at Back Porch. And like you said, we brew on my back porch, which is pretty small to be brewing in, especially as much equipment as we've gotten. But yeah, just to cap off Tim's little thing there. Not only did the sixtel go away, but he went down early.
Yes, I did.
I've had quite a few of those nights.
He was introduced to the craft brewing. Yeah, it's not a Miller Lite anymore.
I saw that in the thing, and we were going to bring that into the discussion. But so, welcome, gentlemen. We're glad to have you on here. Back Porch Brewing out of Carlisle, correct?
Yes.
And where can people find you? I mean, are you guys have a location, phone number, email, whatever? Just let people know where they can find you.
Currently, we're at Rod's house on Longs Gap Road in Carlisle. We can't legally serve people there just because of size. We have no seating. We're renovating a property on North Hanover Street in Carlisle beside Hook and Flask Distillery.
I got my Hook and Flask shirt on.
We hope to be open late October, early November. It's all going to depend on supply chain issues, but we've been hard at it. We actually framed up a bunch of walls yesterday and ready to start framing everything in there. We currently have beer on tap at several different places in Carlisle. Hook and Flask Distillery, Market Cross Pub and Brewery, the Whiskey Rebellion in Carlisle, North Hanover Grill.
That's a great place to eat. Oh, their steak's phenomenal.
Yeah.
I have yet to eat there.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it is phenomenal. And the last place is Castle's Grill in Mount Holly Springs.
Cool. So welcome. We're glad to have you here, but that sounds like the Central PA Pour needs to be invited to your opening day ceremony. So.
Absolutely.
That sounds good. Yeah.
So what led us to you guys was our last guest, Jem's Farm Hops, Michael and Sharon. They kind of put us to you guys. I've actually had your beer before at Hook and Flask, so I enjoyed it truly.
Great.
I can't remember what it was. I think it was their. Did you guys do a porter at one time?
Yep.
I think it was the porter.
Yep. We had a chocolate porter on there. We had a peanut butter porter in there.
So we're glad to have you here, guys. So this is going to be fun. Ben's not here, so we're going to just kind of review where they can find us, Central PA Pour. Find us on all our social platforms at Central PA or Central PA Pour. CentralPAPour@gmail.com is our email. Look us up on YouTube. Give us a follow. Give us a like. You guys are on social media. By all means, give these guys a follow. Two great guys that we're going to get to know a lot more about. New company. We need to get you guys promoted and supported, that this all works out for the best. We were just conversing beforehand about a little bit of the dilemma of delay, why, but we'll get into that. So give us a like, give us a shout. Let us know on all our social media platforms. If there's a place out there like Back Porch Brewing that you guys have seen, that you need to say, hey, Central PA Pour, CPP Crew, you guys need to go see this place. So give us a call. Let us know. So, guys, some of the stuff, what got you into, so you had mentioned the Miller Lite, you mentioned Rod there doing some brewing on the side. You did a kit beer. We do some kits, too. That's all we're doing. We're just doing kits. I'd like to expand sometime. Not yet. My last two batches without my brew crew sitting over across the table there from me kind of failed. We mentioned that before, but what got you into this venue and to pursue your own business?
Well, for me, it was just the love of beer. Like I love beer. Oh. I heard about brewing your own beer with kits and things, and I think my wife made me go to this damn Chris Kindle market thing up in Bethlehem, PA, and walk around all day long in Bethlehem to see Christmas crap. So I said, hey, Fegley's Brew Works is like right across the street. We're going to go there while we're here, and we're going to have dinner. I'm going to have a couple beers. So then we walked around, and I've always wanted to brew. So we walked next door after having dinner, walked next door, there's like this little hardware store, and it had a brew kit in it. And I'm like, I'm buying it. And so like 15 years later, this is...
So this is a long time ago.
Yeah. My wife would go to work on Saturday mornings, and I'd make a mess in the kitchen and try to have it cleaned up by the time she got back. And made some pretty good beer, made some bad beer also along the way. Yeah. And everybody that tasted it was like, man, this is really good.
And they were kits. Were you doing your own recipes at that time?
So I would take a kit and I started out by just doing the kit. And then I would take the kit and I would say, well, let me try this and do that, or add this, or, and again, luckily I made some good beer, and sometimes I've made some really bad.
What's your favorite?
Oh my gosh, my favorite. I got to say that I was not a big IPA type of guy until we really brewed our creek water, and it really came in, and the pale ale has really, really, like, that's my number one beer. I don't think it gets enough recognition, but that's just my thoughts.
Well, we're going to try and promote this stuff.
And it will once we open, because it'll be on tap.
It definitely, I like it. There's a couple different things we could still do to it to make it different, but I like it just right where we got it.
So that's pretty cool. So do you have a background in that, or is it just something you wanted to tinker with?
It's just something I wanted to tinker with. Hated science as a kid.
Oh,
if
so
they'd
did
have taught this in school, hell, I'd have been a master brewer 30 years ago.
So that's pretty cool that you guys got into this, because you have a love of beer and you got a kit and you started taking the kits apart and making your own.
Yeah.
We're not there yet. We're talking about going towards a green or semi-green brewing, but we're not there yet. I don't know. I'm not that kind of a tinker. I want to
take the leap. Yeah. Just take the leap. Yeah.
Just do it.
What's that?
Another funny story on our pale ale. We did it in a kit, and we had a gentleman come over who was a kitchen manager for another brewery in Mechanicsburg. I don't want to mention any names, but he tasted it and said, wow. He said, if you guys can duplicate that, I would put that on tap in our place. You got to do that in all grain. So Rod and I put our heads together, and he put a recipe together with what we thought the grains would be, and we nailed it.
Oh, that's good.
I mean, just if you could compare the two side by side, they were.
And I think that's the hardest thing from what I'm hearing about brewing is getting that
Yep.
every time repetitive
Yep.
ingredients down and getting it just right. We've heard
Yeah.
that several times.
Yeah, you got to really take notes. Like everything you do has got to be. You got to document everything you do.
Yep. Well, gentlemen, I think we've been talking about it not long, but we're talking about this pale ale. So let's kind of describe your first beer here.
Well, it's an American pale ale. So when the first time I ever did this, I brewed it with some local hops. So I put some Chinook in it. I think it's a really good mild pale ale. I think the complexity of the hops. I've had some people say, "How did you get the hops to like come out first and then finish clean on the back end?" I'm like, I don't know. I got lucky because I don't know what the hell I did. It just worked out that way.
And it's working out every time.
It works out every time. Yeah.
So whatever you're
Yeah.
doing,
So-
so it's American Pale Ale.
It's a nice full-bodied beer, but you know,
I tell you what, it doesn't look like a pale ale. It's got a nice amber color to it.
yep. And that's the nice thing about all grain. You can do what you want. You can make the color what you want. You can do whatever you want.
We'll get there. We keep talking about the Essex Home Brew Works becoming Essex Brew Works, but
Well, there you go.
someday. Cheers.
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 American Pale Ale. Oh, that smell is good. It's got a little bit of a malt hoppiness to it. It's not overly bearing on the hop.
Again, Back Porch is providing a pale ale, 17 check-ins so far, at a 4.7 ABV. 3.69 is a rating for this.
Oh, I see what you're saying. The hops do come forward at the beginning, but they quickly die out, and that malt sweetness comes through and finishes. Oh, that's a damn good beer. That's a good beer. Is this going to be one of your staples?
Oh, absolutely.
Are the four we're trying tonight your staple beers?
The peanut
When
butter
you guys
Heffy.
open.
The peanut butter Heffy may not. Depends how well it goes over.
Yeah. I will say up front before we get to that one, Hefeweizen is not one of my favorite styles, but I'm open to all beer. I mean, when we started this journey, IPAs we never would have touched. Never would have touched an IPA.
We had somebody else tell us that they never liked the Hefeweizen until they tried our peanut butter.
Well, we're going to give it a try later on.
Yeah, this one here, if you're checking on it, it's got a 17 check-ins, and it's got a rating of a 3.69, and it's 4.7 ABV.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So that's
that one I
that's
can
pretty
drink.
good.
That don't even drink like a pale ale. Almost drinks like a lager.
Yep.
That's really good.
I gotta bring that rating up.
I like.
Yeah, that's
He's
that's
four,
definitely
not
getting at least a 4 for me. So
Oh, thank you guys.
yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we've had that discussion with several people of our guests, that people that use the Untapped app.
Mm-hmm.
Now we'll use it. We've rated a few beers pretty low, not many, but if we rate it low, we'll explain why. It's not my palate. It's not my taste. Good beer, but it's not my taste. And what we've heard from people is like, if you're not going to give us a rating or like it, don't even check it in, or
Right.
just check it in. Don't even say anything. So that's a good beer.
It's pretty good. Is there more of this in the can?
Yeah, it's a damn shame that we still have
okay.
a can. We still have a can to drink. So
I'll get to it in a bit.
so you guys say what some of your favorite styles? You said you love sours.
Oh, yeah. So everybody keeps asking us when we're going to do a sour, and I'm like, probably never.
Thank you.
And not that we don't want to do a sour and sell it, because there's a huge market for
It is
sours.
a huge market.
But how do you brew something and taste it and say, well, yeah, that's something that we could sell, when you don't like sours.
I'll volunteer.
There you go. Yeah, brother volunteer. I tell you, I'm not a big fan of sours, and I'm on your side right there. You know, I'll drink one.
I've had a few sours in the past that I've drank, and I said, well, that's not bad. But then I've had other ones, and I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, you can get a good or a bad one.
Yeah.
I've probably had
So-
8 different sours that I've tasted. I try to be open-minded. I try to like them. And out of those 8, maybe 2 I could drink a 4-ounce pour. And that would be it.
There's been
I like 'em. I mean, yeah.
there's been nights I come home and I don't want anything heavy. Like, stouts and porters are our 3 favorites. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to do an IPA tonight. And then the next night, I'm going for the sour. The thicker, the better. Those like the smoothies that they're doing.
Oh,
my
yeah.
God,
Imprint.
They're not bad.
they're really good.
Imprint has
Yeah.
Well, that's the
Yeah.
one we just had on our
Yeah.
live episode. Imprint and Foursquare. It was their orange creamsicle schmamba.
Yeah,
That was
Yeah.
really good.
The one that he had the other night, it was pretty good.
That was that Imprint one,
Yeah,
yeah.
I like that. And
Yeah, the orange creamsicle.
those are, like I said, a couple of the sours that I will drink. I do like them, but the majority of them, I'm just like, oh, that was okay. But don't bring a case of them over to my house because when you come back in 2 months, there'll be one gone.
They'll still be there.
One gone. Yeah, they'll still be there. Or one will be gone. And the one that's gone is my son will drink it. So
So the back porch. You're brewing on your back porch,
yes.
and your wife's okay with that, or she? I guess it is what it is.
It's better than your kitchen stove.
Yeah, I don't think she would like the fermenter sitting in her dining room either.
So since we've moved from the kitchen and cooking everything on the stove in 5-gallon batches, we went to my back porch, and we are up to a 40-gallon. We're up to a 1-barrel system.
I was going to ask you what's
But,
your system set up?
Yeah, but we have 7 fermenters and 2 bright tanks sitting on my back porch. It's an enclosed back porch, and when we get to brewing, we're bumping asses and elbows, and can you move out of the way?
And this all started with the Miller Lite.
Yep. I was nothing but Miller Lite ever since I was able to start drinking beer. And
So basically, you were used to drinking what's in these clear bottles here.
yep. And I can honestly say now I might hydrate with a Miller Lite.
Like we go camping a lot together. We do a lot of wine tours together and things. And I said, man, I think we were at Three Brothers Winery at Warhorse. Yeah. And I said, we're looking at all their distilling or all their brewing equipment. I go, man, someday I would love to do this. And he's like, why would you want to do that? Like, there's only so many different styles of beer you could brew, and everybody brews them. And I'm like, oh no, no, this is like whatever your imagination can.
Right. Yeah. There is. He's correct. There's only so many styles, but what the craft industry brings is different variations to those
Yes.
styles.
Yes.
And it's the brewer's choice of what he wants that style to taste like. And that's what's kind of really broadened our horizon. It's like, and I won't ever go back. I mean, Yingling Lager was and Boston Sam were my 2 favorite.
Absolutely. Yep.
Right now, they taste like water.
Yep.
So I mean, you guys saw my fridge. It's nothing but craft beer in there. There isn't.
Still nothing wrong with either one of them beers. I mean, that's a good go-to beer.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely a craft beer is hard to beat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you guys going to be moving all your equipment to the new location, or are you going to have some secret kept, back at the house? Or how?
Yep, we'll move it all into the new location. We need every tank we have now, and we got to buy some more. The whole when we first started and we're possibly getting SBA funding, we had built in there a complete 7-barrel system.
7 barrels. That's a big shot.
Yeah, and that all
Hopefully we
fell
can fit
through
it in.
with COVID. So now we got to keep our 1 barrel until we can get the doors open and start generating some revenue. But then, we're going to have to buy some more fermenters or uni tanks for sure.
And that's because if you brew it, you got to get into the fermenter. So you need a multitude of fermenters for the different beers.
That's right. And once it's in there for a minimum of 10 days. And some, like our loggers, they're in there for 5 weeks. So we need more tanks.
Now with the loggers, do you have to keep them at a certain? I know with lagering, you need to keep it at a certain temperature. The fermenters glycol, or how do they work?
Yeah, we have glycol systems.
Okay.
Yep. And in the process of lagering, I mean, we step it down so many different degrees every 2 days. We think 48 hours and, drop the temperature, let it sit there for another 24 hours or 48 hours and drop the temperature again. So
you guys are learning on the go, or are you guys studying this? How are you learning the different beers? I mean, is it just you said you like to tinker? Is this something you're just learning as you go?
A little bit of both, really.
Yeah. Yeah. So I did a lot of research, taking a couple classes, met a lot of great people in the industry. And man, I'm telling you, if you we got a couple of buddies that if you need to know something, you ask. They're all professionals. They all own their own breweries, and they're not afraid to tell you. Like they'll help you out. So if we got a question, we just reach out to one of those guys, and they're there for us.
Yeah, we've heard that. We've heard that time and time again. It's and I know we've beat this horse to death with this, but it is a community.
It is.
It is, absolutely.
And like you're just saying, if somebody has you have a question, they're going to help you.
Absolutely.
I don't know if it's appropriate to name names or not, so I won't. But one particular brewer that's very, very well known and an excellent brewer said to me one day when I asked him a question, I said, I can't believe you're sharing all this information with me. I can't tell you how thankful I am that you're helping us like that. He looked me in the eye and said, listen, you're no threat to me and I'm no threat to you. If I can help you make Carlisle the biggest brewery destination in the United States, we all win.
Exactly.
And that just sank in, and it means so much. And he's helped us many times after that too.
Yeah, because I mean it's a growing community. You got Desperate Times, you guys coming up.
Molly Pitcher.
Molly Pitcher's been a staple in Carlisle for
Yep.
years.
Yep.
And then just down the street in Mechanicsburg, they're popping up left and right.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So there's a plenty. I mean, I take my wife she's from Carlisle, and I take her up there every year for our birthday weekend. And let's let her. I think the last time we were up at Molly Pitcher, I think I had everything on her tap list, so I had plenty of flights.
Yeah,
I came home with some too. So it's a great area, Carlisle. It's a beautiful area.
Yeah, it is.
And we've had that discussion here about York. They're trying to make it a destination. Carlisle's they're trying to make that a destination. Hanover's now they're trying to clean that up.
Right.
There's breweries popping up in Hanover trying to make that a destination. This industry alone that you guys are in is going to repopulate Pennsylvania back in the tourist section because it's going to become destination places. You got to go try this.
You see it all the time on Facebook. Hey, I'm heading over to Carlisle.
Yeah.
What are the breweries to go look at?
Yeah.
I was on Molly Pitcher's Facebook page earlier today, and I noticed that a few weeks back they posted a link that Carlisle was voted number 4 most historic town in the United States.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And
That's huge.
That is huge.
And the more breweries that pop up and stuff could make it go to number 1.
Yeah. Well, that's where the Whiskey Rebellion comes from.
Yep.
I mean, George Washington stayed in Carlisle for the Whiskey Rebellion.
Yep.
And if I remember right, the cannonball dings are still on the courthouse.
Absolutely.
From
Yep.
where the cannonballs were hitting. So it is an old town. York's an old town. Pennsylvania. And we had mentioned this in one of our episodes that 2011, I think it was, there was only 88 brew houses.
Oh, yeah.
And now we're over 440 in Pennsylvania. So it is a fastly growing industry. And we are very happy to have you guys on here to promote your up and coming brewery. What are their plans? I mean, for your brewery? Is it just going to be a tap room? Do you got stuff you guys are going to do? Food wise? I mean, what's your plans for your endeavor?
Well, we've talked about it quite a bit, and we don't have 100% definitive plan, but we want to keep with our theme, our name, Back Porch Brewing. We want to do like what you would cook on your grill on your back porch. Burgers, dogs, brats. We contemplated having like a steak night. We don't want to have a huge menu, but
Right.
we want to have things that people relate to and just do on their own, all the time. Of course, we're having a full commercial kitchen built. So, I mean, we got our bar will seat probably 16. It's a 35-foot long bar. So we're going all in, full scale, restaurant, brewery, the whole thing.
Not dipping the toe. You're dumping both feet in
Yep.
and no
We're in.
swim and
All
no
in.
swim tubies.
Yeah.
We're in.
All in.
So
Is there outside
how many are you looking to seat in the room in your restaurant area?
Based on codes, if you can believe it, they state our space will occupy 242
Wow,
people.
that's a pretty big one.
I don't see any possible way of getting more than 150 in there.
Yeah.
But, hey, if you come, we will serve you.
Kevin, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
You had a question.
I was just going to say, with that, is there like outside seating and what? I'm
There-
not familiar with that area.
So there will be a little bit like Hook and Flask.
Couple chairs outside,
chairs.
right on the sidewalk.
Yeah. Yeah. So with our design that we done with the building, the front of our building is all glass,
Okay.
and back the side 20 some feet is all glass also. So we're going to open that up with bifold doors, windows, and we're going to have them to slide to the side. Right inside the sidewalk and inside the building, there's going to be a stage. So we're hoping to have some entertainment
Oh,
there.
that's awesome.
that was my next question. Yeah.
The first 30 feet of our building is all like a wooden floor, and we're hoping to do some dancing in there on Friday night. We've got a lot of requests for people that are like, there's no place to go dance. We have a DJ, local DJ. He said, if they want to dance, if you book me on Friday nights, we're gonna dance,
There we
and
go.
I'll pack this place. And I'm like, then let's do it.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, a lot of places up there, like Bird Dog's right down the street too. Market Cross Club, that's my wife's favorite spot. There's really no places. It's you go sit down, you sit at the bar, you sit at a table. You got no open areas. Hook and Flask, the same thing. There's really no open area. Now I got to ask, Hook and Flask, was that originally the firehouse there? Is that I don't know the whole area.
So originally that was a print shop.
Oh, okay.
I know it was something before a print shop, but I can't remember what it was.
I just thought with the hook with the fire theme that might have been an old time fire hall at one time.
Yeah, both of the owners are firefighters.
Okay.
So
Yeah, but that's where I first had your beer, and I think it's like we said, it was the porter. And you had mentioned earlier where they can find it currently. Mm-hmm. Can you mention that again?
Yeah, well, we don't have the porter anywhere right now.
No, but your other beers. I mean, this pale ale is definitely something I am interested in purchasing.
But we have beer at Hook and Flask. We have two different beers there. We have beer at Market Cross Pub and Brewery. We have one beer. Well, we actually rotate three beers. We have one tap there, and we rotate 2 and 3 different beers there. They generally have our Creek Water and Pilsner, and we just threw in the peanut butter Hefeweizen. So that should be on tap right now. See how that goes over there. North Hanover Grill has us on part-time, kind of, so to speak. Whiskey Rebellion right now, we have every tap on their
Oh, wow.
in there right now. They only have 4,
Right.
but we have all 4 taps there
that's cool.
at Whiskey Rebellion.
Speaking of North Hanover Grill, when we were up there in March, they caught on fire.
Yes.
Yes.
Is everything okay?
yes,
They're rebuilding.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's the restaurant didn't get hit at all.
It was upstairs
It was-
in one of the apartments, I
Yeah.
think.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were there, and I heard all the fire trucks in the middle of the night, and then we heard the next morning that one of the apartments caught on fire above North Hanover Grill. I was
Yep.
like, oh, man,
Yeah.
And then lastly, we have beer at Castle's Grill in Mount Holly Springs.
that's cool. So, yeah, you gotta check these guys out. If it's anything like what these other 3 beers or anything like this pale ale, I'm definitely looking for a 6-pack of this, so we might have to buy a case. And you guys had mentioned, we were talking before, you could bring a 6-stool or something. we
we
may
could.
be looking at that, too.
You want to try the next beer?
Yeah, why don't we get into the next one?
Yeah.
What is our next one here, guys? You just mentioned it.
This is our peanut butter Hefeweizen. If you know a Hefeweizen, they give off a slight banana note
Yep.
to them. So we were just talking one day, and I said to Rod, I'm like, peanut butter and banana go great together.
Always.
What if we try putting peanut butter in our Hefe? And he's like, let's do it. So we started experimenting. Now, when we experiment with flavors, we have it down to, we use a little what the
So it's a little syringe.
Yeah, a little syringe. And we 1 ounce or 1 milliliter at a time. And we're squirting in there, stirring it up, and then we taste it. Not enough, and until we get it dialed in, and then we do the math for a whole 6-door or half barrel, and then we add it. So
We're probably half drunk till we get to the right.
Oh, that fucking tastes real good, man.
Everybody will love this one. We're
That's the way to
good.
go.
So that's how this came about, and we had a few people taste it, and they're like, "Holy mackerel, that is good!" So we kept it.
So
Yes.
do you have a specific name for it, or just peanut butter Hefeweizen?
Just peanut butter Hefe.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So peanut butter Hefeweizen. So what peanut butter did you use in this? Jif?
Well,
We actually use peanut butter flavoring, not true peanut butter.
Oh. And I think I talked to you before we sat down here. Hefties aren't usually my favorite. That's pretty damn good.
It's good.
That is it's not overbearing with the peanut butter, and you get a little bit of that banana at the very end.
Yeah.
That's a very drinkable beer. Hell, I like that.
It's good beer.
so one of the things about this beer is Rusty Rail, which is one of my favorite brewings.
Yeah.
They do a Fool's Gold. Peanut
Yes,
butter.
we've had that one.
And I liked it. It was good, but I said, I think we could do a little bit better. So we made this one here.
That's smooth.
Before COVID hit, our first ever brew, I don't know, brew festival was the York show.
The one down at the People's Bank Park.
Yes.
Yep.
No,
Yeah, it
not
was at the
Peop-
fairgrounds.
it was
Oh,
at
it's Fairgrounds. Okay.
Yeah.
Brew. What the heck was that called? High Brew Nation.
High Brew Nation, yes.
High Brew Nation.
So we took 4 beers or 3 beers down to High Brew Nation. It was our first ever time out as a brewery, and I never done anything like this as a home brewer. So I never put any of my beers in competitions. So we took this beer down there, and Rusty Rail was there, like shit,
With their Fool's Gold.
with Fool's
With
Gold.
Fool's Gold.
And I'm like, well, we're gonna find out how this compares. We had a line of people at our booth going, wow, is that good?
That is really good. It's not overbearing, and truthfully, I didn't like the Hefe from the Fool's Gold. I can drink one of them, but that was about all. I could drink that.
That's good.
Towards the end of the hibernation, like the last half hour, we had 5 people standing in front of our booth, and they would get their 4-ounce pour and come back and get another one and come back and get another one. We'd kick the keg.
It might be a staple for you guys. That's really good.
It's definitely not a beer for everybody,
No.
but we think it's pretty good. We've got a lot of great reviews about it. It's just one of those beers.
Yes.
And for our Untapped followers, this has a 4.7 ABV, and it's rated. It's got an average rating of 3.77.
Yeah, I'm going to be up there in that area too. So yeah, but good job.
Yeah, definitely
That's-
a 4+.
That's really good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Speaking of Brewfest, we're in the summer festival area for all these breweries. Do you guys do that often? Do you go out there or not?
We'd love to, but right now we're just
You're
all in with the new renovations, to the building and stuff, and just
So
not enough days in a week.
yeah,
You're right.
we both work full-time jobs outside of the brewery.
What do you
What do you do?
So I'm a maintenance technician for a school district.
I'm a fleet manager for a trucking company.
Okay.
Oh, all right.
Yep.
So
That's a lot of time when you guys spend a lot of time going back and forth between the two.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
So and then we come home. We work away from home. We come home. We work in a brewery. We try to, and then we are the contractors also for the new renovations because both of our backgrounds are construction. So we do our own construction, and we do everything.
Wow.
So we're in at the brewery working, trying to get that done. something's got to give, and we're like, maybe the public appearances just are got to go away.
Maybe when you open, you guys revisit that.
Yeah,
Oh, absolutely.
absolutely, yeah. And the canning. I mean, that's that's why we brought them in gross bottles tonight,
Yeah.
because we have 5 on tap that we drink. Just mistakes and leftovers and such.
But they're still. I bet they're still damn good to drink.
We've made a mistake. We've made a mistake beer.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna get describe this mistake.
That would be the next one we're going to sample. So, do you want me to describe it now? Or?
Well, no. I'm talking about the Hunter Picasso mistake beer.
Oh yeah.
We were brewing a beer, and we got down to putting yeast in, and we're like, oh shit, I don't think we have enough yeast. And I'm like, well, we've already got this. It's ready for yeast. Like we got to do something. So we looked through the inventory, and I said, throw 3 packs of ale yeast in it, throw 3 packs of lager in it. We're going to call it an Elger.
Well,
Well, I got to tell you, we've had some people try it, and they were like, if that's what a mistake tastes like, keep doing it.
There you go.
So you created a new style, is what you're saying. You created a new style.
I'm not sure any judge would say it's a new style, but it's a new style for us.
You know what? The public's the judge.
That's right.
I had no idea if we mixed an ale yeast with a lager yeast, because they ferment at 2 different temperatures.
Right.
What are they going to do?
And we split the difference in
I
the
said-
temperature too.
Split it down the middle.
Yep.
It'll do what it's going to do.
I'd be interested in trying that Elger.
We drank it all.
Oh,
Drank it all.
And we did actually license it, so we do
Yeah.
we can
you can repeat it.
yes we can repeat it and we can sell it.
That might be sound when you get your tap room open. It might be run one on the tap and see how it does.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we called it Hunter Picasso because we figured that if Hunter Biden could take some watercolors and sell them for $500,000, then we could screw up too.
So our beer can label, I took a picture that my 6-year-old granddaughter drew me. You know how a 6-year-old draws. You
Yeah.
know, they're not in the lines. It's all over the place.
Kind of like a 53-year-old draws.
So I took that picture and I made that our beer can label.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
It's just something to have fun with. I mean,
Yep.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I mean, Ben has mentioned this many times. Can art is part of this craft thing.
just as important.
It's just as important.
It is.
Do you guys come up with the names, the labels? Who does the labels and naming for you?
I've done all the labels.
You've done all the labels. So you got a little graphic art?
Nope.
Just-
Years ago, I liked to play with websites, and with websites, you got to do graphics.
Yeah. So
You know,
Dave, that's
so-
up your alley.
Yeah.
So
Dave?
I bought Photoshop CS5 to do all that, and I've just when I want to do something and don't know how, I Google it.
Google
and
it.
I find out how to do it, and I just do it.
In my industry, Googling can cost you a lot of money. Automotive repair.
Yeah.
we call it
Yeah.
we call it Google certified repairs. So
Yep.
You know, it's kind of funny. Everybody says the same thing. You know, it says, how did you find out? Oh, I Googled it. You know, I Googled this, I Googled that. It's funny because no one ever says, well, I Yahooed it.
yeah.
Where would you get that? Oh, I Binged it.
Well, what's Yahoo?
Yeah, what's Yahoo?
I don't know, a question I always wanted to ask previous guests as well, but do you find that in different areas, like in Carlisle, like a Hefeweizen is the taste? You know, is there different areas that kind of like different things, or is it just? I mean, I don't want to say I'm trained to think that everything is a seasonal thing, but
Well, I can tell you this: you guys just tasted the peanut butter Hefeweizen, and you all said you loved it.
I like
Yep.
oh
Okay.
yeah,
We just can't keep it on tap anywhere for whatever reason. I don't know if you've heard of Whisker's Brewery, the one in Newville,
Yep.
PA.
Yeah, we brought them at, and actually my wife went to school with either the husband or the wife. Ben had mentioned them in our new brewery segment back in March.
Yeah.
And then that week they burnt down.
Yeah. Well, they took on our peanut butter Hefeweizen, and they sold it all. And Julie, the bar manager there. She brought it back and said everybody loved it. But, they're not in a position to order more, obviously.
Right.
But we just can't get repeat sales on that for some reason. I'm not sure why. So maybe to your question, maybe a Hefeweizen just isn't a Carlisle beer.
Right.
I don't know.
And like I said, I mean, Hefty's usually not one of my go-tos. I mean, I'm going to drink it and try it. I'm going to try everything that everybody has.
Mm-hmm.
But a Hefty's not one. That one I would go back for. I would go back for that Hefeweizen. That's a very good drinking beer. There are styles that and that's why I said about the Untapped. If we rate it low, we're gonna explain why we rate it low. It might not be for me. It might be for you, and you might love that beer. But for me, it's just not my palate. It's still a good beer, and I think that's where the brewers take heart to it. Is why'd you only give me a 0.5 or a 1? I put my heart and soul into this, and it's still a good beer. It's just not everybody's style. Like you guys, you don't like sours.
Right.
It's still good beer, but it's not your style.
Right. Absolutely.
You'd mentioned about whiskers and stuff. We're looking to try and get them on as well. I'd love to get them on and promote them because I know they're trying to rebuild. So
Yeah. I think Dean just started to brew again. I think he just started.
Yeah, I saw that on Facebook. Yep.
Yeah.
yeah, I got an email from him, so I'd like to reach out to them. You guys had mentioned, what's your time frame to open? You said sometime October, November?
That's
We're
our
hoping.
goal. It's all going to depend on the windows that we were talking about earlier. They were saying the lead time on them is anywhere from 9 to 16 weeks. So I should find out either this week or next when the delivery date will be.
Okay.
And once we know that, then we can pretty much set an opening date.
And if I remember right, your cans, the label, do they have to be approved, or
Yes.
the can labels have to be approved
Yes.
by the LCB?
Yep.
Okay.
The federal, the TTB.
TTB.
TT. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the state has to approve it too, but the process is you get it done from the TTB, from the federal government, and then you just send that approval to the state, and they just approved.
Okay.
If the TTB approves it, the state approves it.
They don't have a choice.
Yeah. Which that was a big learning curve.
Yeah.
Whew. We did an FU beer to COVID. We did a strong ale, an American strong ale, and we called it 91 DeVock. COVID-19 spelled backwards.
Yeah.
And it was an 8% beer, and we put mango and habanero in it. Yeah. And the first label we did a prescription pad with all this like Mr. Yuck stuff on it and hazardous and so on and so forth.
Denied.
Denied.
Service came in.
We were misleading the public and thinking that our beer can cure COVID.
It probably could have.
So
Along with some other germs, right?
yeah.
Hello,
So-
Daniel.
So then we went back and just put a surgical mask, and did the same things. Denied. Still misleading the public and thinking that your beer can cure COVID. So then we took his son and we put a red bandana on him with a cowboy hat, and took a picture and did everything, and they finally approved that one. So
We took two guys at the bottom of the label on rocking chairs with a tape measure 6 feet apart.
That's clever.
I was going to ask.
I have that label.
Are the
I'll
two
pull it up.
guys on the label? You guys sitting on your porch waiting for the beer to brew?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
We'd done a beer, and he didn't want to use a COVID. What was that?
So
name of that?
I had a Kolsch kit, and what I did is I put a raspberry flavoring. You guys had mentioned how you did your flavoring. Mm-hmm. I just dumped the whole 4-ounce bottle into the secondary.
Oh,
So it said 4 ounces for 10 gallons. I'm like, well, I'm only doing a 5-gallon batch. Anyways, the Kolsch got kicked. I mean, the yeast got burnt because I put a wrapper around it to keep it at 70-some degrees. Well, I went down and checked it a day and a half later. It was 95. So I cooked the yeast.
Oh, yeah.
I called Tim March, Stony Run, because he also has Bailey's Home Brew Supplies. And he said, if it doesn't smell or taste Band-Aidy, go ahead and finish letting it finish. So I did, and we did it. It's not a Kolsch. Oh, that's freaking hilarious. I love it. We're going to have to get a picture of that and put it up on our with this video. So we finished it, but on the one episode, I said, when Tim was on, he said, well, it ain't a Kolsch. All you're getting is the raspberry. But I was kicking the names around, and I was going to call it, what the hell was I going to call it? What was that last strain at the end of the year that they called?
That's why I threw it.
Omicron 22.
Omicron.
And it's because my wife had COVID when I brewed it. So my brewing partners couldn't come help me brew this beer, so I did it. So I was going to call it Omicron 22. Well, it didn't win. It's called Ragtop Raspberry.
Better name.
There you go.
No, that's too conservative.
But see, that could have been a variation. Omicron 23, Omicron 24.
Right? Yeah.
So I got another Kolsch kit, and I got more raspberry. I'm going to try it again. But maybe I won't fuck it up. We'll see.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny you say that because we have a raspberry Kolsch,
Oh, I love it.
and we can't keep it in stock.
It's a great... Kolsch has become... I mean, Kolsch is a very good drinking beer.
It is, and it's one of those beers that has been just on the back shelf for many years. It's just now coming to light, I think. And Kolsch has always been a great beer.
And Pilsners. You know,
Yeah.
Miller Lite, that's a Pilsner. I'm not a Miller Lite person, but the Pilsners we've been getting, and you guys mentioned you have a Pilsner.
We do.
I'd love to try it. We've had some very good Pilsners, and I mean, awesome Pilsners. So I'd love to try your Pilsner. And that's more of a lighter drinking beer, but it's a great style. Kolsch is a great style. We'd mentioned it. There's only so many styles, but it's the brewers that bring the different variation to it.
Yeah, and really the hop variations today, you can really do a lot of different things with the hops that gives each individual style of beer another complexity.
Right.
So
as far as your ingredients, do you source a lot local, or how do you get your ingredients?
Mainly, we get everything from LD Carlson. We want to get more into the locally sourced, and we reached out to Mike from Gems Farms,
Right.
And we do use his hops, and
we have another one,
Mount Rock
Farms. He does some hops for us. In fact, the pale ale is all of his hops.
Okay.
So that's Cascade and Chinook.
yes,
So
As we go along here, we're learning as well that each hop brings a whole different characteristic to the beer.
Oh, it does.
And so you can, from what we understand, you can grow hops on one side of the creek to the other side of the creek
Totally different.
and totally different.
Yep.
One might be a clay soil, the other might be limestone or slate.
I learned that.
Completely different.
Yeah, I learned that about 30 years ago. I'm originally from the Finger Lakes, so when you mentioned the
okay,
brewery
yeah.
there, and you'd listen to the wineries, they all said the same
Yeah.
thing. Depending on how far away from the water, if it's on
Yeah.
a hill, there's so many
Well,
variations.
everything's on a hill up there.
yeah, really.
But yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
You guys talk about, this is going off the track, but I was just kind of curious. Both of you guys have full-time jobs.
Yes.
And both of you guys come home from your jobs and you're in your brewery, you're making beer. And then you're deciding that you need to, another day you're in construction. You're actually, constructing your new place. You have any time for hobbies or anything?
Beer.
Beer.
Well, that is our hobby.
So,
You mentioned camping, though.
Beer.
so yeah, well, that's kind of been put on the back burner for me at least, because I own a race car, and my son drives it, and now his son has started go-kart racing.
Holy shit! You got time? You have time at all?
Well, I sleep sometimes.
You do sleep a little.
Yeah, I sleep a little.
We've been 7 days a week for the past
Oh my
2.5 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the first Sunday we've basically
Yeah,
not done. What we spent 2 hours in the brewery this morning.
Yep, transferring a
But,
beer, and that was it.
We're like,
Still drinking beer. Well, it's your beer, but
we need a day off.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are gonna have to do that.
thank you for
What
coming.
kind of racing?
Well, we like dirt track racing. So my son races micro midgets. and my grandson races go-karts.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Locally or?
Yes. So the micro midgets, we race anywhere. We've been New York, but we race Hunterstown, a lot out towards Bedford, Shellhammers up at Hamburg. So we race all over the place. Lincoln every once in a while. And then the grandson, he races locally, Hunterstown with the go-karts.
I'll tell you what, you guys got some expensive hobbies.
Yeah.
How fast does a go-kart go?
It depends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, loaded question.
So you can do all kinds of things to a 5 horsepower motor. And his son back in the day was racing go-karts and was clocked at like,
He was on a 3/8 mile track, and they clocked him doing 67 mile an hour.
Holy shit.
yeah, in a
And
go-kart.
that was a restricted go-kart because he was only 10 years old.
I wouldn't even have guessed half of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, the open carts, like the adult class and the go-karts, on a 3/8 mile track, they'll do 105 mile an hour.
Oh my God.
Not me.
My 6-year-old grandson's he's in red plate cage cart, but he's 6 and he's probably doing 35 mile an hour.
6 years old.
6 years old.
Wow.
Just learning how to spell his name, let alone now he's racing cars.
And I will say he's got some reflexes that I'm not sure that I had at 6 years old.
And making can art for your cans. Hey, we do got some brewery news. I saw PA Pride had another release. They kind of do this PA Pride release once in a while. This was a fruited sour. It was released yesterday, the June 24th. So that should be out and about. And then there was a big strike out in Philadelphia with beer distributor truckers. I think that just ended too. So good news for that industry out in Philly area. They'll be able to get their beer. I think there's some festivals coming up.
Well, we were kind of hoping that the big boys would still be on, standby. We can get the truck drivers for the small boys like us.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah. We got some brewery festivals coming up, and we had talked about festivals. The Effort of Brew Fest is on Saturday, June 20th. That was
Yeah,
yesterday.
that was gone. So is the third one. So
Edit that out.
Yeah, the only other one in there is Brews and Vats. That's on Saturday, July 9th. And that's at People's Bank Park in York.
York Rev Stadium.
Right.
Sounds like a good time.
And then the homebrew con's over. So I was thought about that, but I never got a chance. You know how it is. Me in Pittsburgh, I always like to go down there, but I
That's his area.
couldn't go down there for that. So.
The homebrew competition from Brews in PA is still going on. I think as we're recording this, they just wrapped up their second one. Third one is going to be July 16th at Hop Farm Brewing, August 13th in Lavery Brewing, and then October 16th is the championship of all the home brewers up at Rusty Rail. So you can get tickets for that. So that's a little bit of news that we like to kind of touch on. So you guys like to camp? Anything favorite you guys where you guys like to go, or are you just kind of just mosey around? As you saw when you pulled in, I got a fifth wheel too.
I like to go just anywhere. I'm not a big fan of. I mean, I do have some regulars that we'd like to go to when we're just want a weekend away, and don't want to drive 3 hours. But I like to experiment. I like to see different campgrounds and go all over. My girlfriend and I just recently bought a brand new toy hauler, so
Cha-ching.
yeah. So our plan is ultimately, when retirement comes around, we want to travel. We want to go back forward to Florida and what have you.
From what I'm hearing, retirement's going to be a little far away.
Yeah.
But no, best of luck. So the toy haulers are going to be hauling toys, or going to be hauling the brewery?
Well, we've done that too.
we have done that. We've taken, I have a kegerator in my kitchen, and I loaded it up on a toy hauler one time, and we took 3 sixtels of beer to a race there at Williams Grove Speedway. The story behind that is we had our license approved from the feds, and at the last minute, and we were brewing away. I mean, we had a couple 100 gallons of beer
Holy shit.
in the cooler, and I get a last minute phone call from a lady at the TTB and said that our license is no longer valid because they had a temporary agency in there assisting them, and she did not follow the proper steps and protocols to approve our license. So we had 1 day to send her the corrected information, which there was no way possible to do that. So we had to start all over.
Oh, my God.
And that was a 3-month process. So we had all this beer, and we're just like, we're going to the races this weekend. Let's load her up, and everybody walks by, wants a beer, they get a free beer.
Wow.
So that's what we did.
Hey, that's a
what else
good
you
way
gotta
to
do with
market.
Yep.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, it's great marketing.
We brewed it to drink, so we drank it.
There you go.
Yep.
I'm just kind of like taken aback by the fact that they fouled it up, but yet
You got to go through the
you
hoops.
guys got to go through the process all over.
Welcome
again.
to the federal government.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yep, there's no leeway there with the feds at
Hey,
all.
you know what?
That's
Don't
another
hold
very
back.
common.
Let us know how you. Don't hold back. Let us know how you really feel about them.
Now, I will honestly say the manager that called me about that, when I did resubmit everything, she did expedite it, and the follow-up license only took 6 weeks instead of 3 months. So
I did that. That sticker that's going around. I'm getting a little parched, guys. What do you think?
yeah.
yes,
So what is beer number 3, guys?
So beer number 3 is our double IPA. We call it Double Passion because it's an IPA brewed with Gem Farms hops, and it's got passion fruit, orange, and guava in it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So this is a double passion.
Man, it's
So,
very good.
Rod, what did you say was in this? I get some sweet citrus out of it.
That's good.
So yeah, we brew this with Gem Farms hops. We use triple pearl and Tahoma, but then we also dry hop this 14 days with the triple pearl. Once it's all done, then we add passion fruit, orange, and guava to it.
I get the orange and the sweetness of the passion fruit. Now, I'm not familiar with what guava is supposed to taste like,
I don't know, but it
Right, what
works.
you're tasting.
but it's very good.
Yeah.
This is for a double IPA, 8%. I think I'm seeing.
yes, 8%.
Yeah, 8%.
Wow,
I am
That's-
glad my son's not here because I'm going to rate this the highest of them all, and I don't like an IPA.
So we've gotten that from a lot of people. A lot of people are like, we don't like IPAs, and we sure as heck don't like doubles because 9% alcohol, 8% alcohol, just you can taste it, and
Yeah.
it just gets overbearing at times. And people
good.
go, "Oh my God, that's 8%."
Yeah.
That's easy at 4.5,
This is good.
if not better.
So
That is probably one of the best double IPAs I've had.
absolutely.
again, we like to mellow things out. We want you to taste a beer. Like
And we've talked about that with Doug from Westgate. He said, I'm not big on IPAs. I don't want to be like chewing on grass.
Well,
he was pretty poignant about it.
So it was an IPA, and that was one of the reasons that was never a style I'd go after. You get that real piney, grapefruit,
Yeah.
hoppy thing.
But the thing with an IPA, you could be 30 feet over there doing pour samples, and you could smell it over here. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, God.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
This,
really good.
this is
This is good though.
awesome.
That's
So funny story about that. Carlisle every summer has the downtown mile where they have 500, 600, 700 people come and they run a mile and they set up a beer garden. And
Let me know.
they invited us. Well, they just did it 2 months, month and a half
Yeah.
ago.
yeah,
But they invited us there, and we took the double passion with 2 others. And after running a mile, everybody went with a double passion. They crushed the 8%er
I tell you
after
what,
running a mile.
I'm not. Kevin here is the runner,
Fat bald runner. I love it.
and I said I'd run to the end of my driveway. However, if you're going to put a beer garden at the end of a mile, I might run a mile.
I'm still not running it.
I'll walk it.
Walk it.
Yeah, I'll walk it.
You talk about the ABV. So there's a thing over there called Colossus. It's from Duclaw.
Oh yes.
I went in there, and when we did our recording with Sebastian and Doug in there, I was tempted to buy that bottle, that can of beer. It was a pint, $32. I went back and bought it. 22.8%.
Oh,
If not higher. That was delicious.
That was it. Was I forget what it was aged in, but oh my god, that was a delicious. Now it's not. You're going to taste the alcohol, but it's a sipping kind of beer.
Yeah.
That's what you're talking about, the ABVs and stuff. And I told you about the bourbon counties, what got us started. And yeah, you're getting that bourbon alcohol up front, but as longer you let it sit and you start to really enjoy it. But
Yeah, we got hung up on the barrel aged, and like the Bourbon County, and the barrel aged beers are really good. That's
Yeah.
kind of like my favorite.
Yeah.
Right there.
That's something I would like to try in the future. I'd like to do some.
I was going to ask, is that something
you
you're going to
go.
venture
Yeah.
in our
into?
spare time.
Yeah, in our
In your
space.
spare time.
What spare time?
Do it between the construction and your go kart racing.
Yeah, yeah.
You got plenty of time in there, right in the middle.
Speaking of all this barrel age, I just might fly to Kentucky and go try it.
So you speaking of camping, so I went camping Memorial Day, and I have an auto repair shop like I've mentioned on here before, but I closed for the first time the Friday of Memorial weekend and gave everybody a 4-day weekend. The downside to that, I ran out of beer. I had to come home and get more beer.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, because I'm like, all right, I'm going to take, and they actually did a craft beer night at the campground, which I was shocked.
Oh.
It was pretty cool. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to take some for that, take some for me. And Saturday came around, I'm like, damn, I need more beer. I can go and get more beer. Problem is with drinking this stuff compared to the Yinglings and Miller Lite,
Oh yeah.
it hurts the pocketbook a little bit more than it
Yep.
does buying a
Yeah.
30-pack.
Yes, it does.
But it's still no going back. What else you guys got in the plans? I mean, besides the racing, the camping, do you have time for your family?
That definitely gets in the, well, I shouldn't say that the family gets in the way of things, but things get in the way of the family. It's a tough balance.
Do they understand how things are going and what your progress is?
Yeah.
Okay.
My family does.
That's important.
I've promised, I said, once we get this place opened up and we get people running it that we can trust, then we'll take some time. But right now, this is what we need to do.
Well, what I'm thinking I'm finding and hearing from you guys is you're chasing a passion and a dream that you guys had.
Yes.
Coming from Miller Lite.
So, yeah. So a passion and a dream. I'm passionate about two things: beer, and I love to cook. And I've always wanted to own my own restaurant. I always seen it as a smaller little place. And I got to say, I'm not going to cook here at this place, but I'm probably going to be in the kitchen a little bit. Mm-hmm. We are going to hire somebody that's been around the block a few
Okay.
times and can cook for us. But I'm going to definitely be in the restaurant.
There you go.
In the kitchen.
You're going to have some ideas on the recipes that you would like to see
Yep. Both
to kind of go
both-
along with your
yep,
name, Back
both,
Porch.
Yeah, both Tim and I.
Yep. Fortunately, my girlfriend is very understanding of the situation. She, prior to her divorce, was starting up a winery. So she's very familiar with what it takes to make it work. And she's very supportive of me. And, she gets a little frustrated that we can't take trips and such, but,
It'll happen.
yep.
So you say she was going to start a winery? She's not pursuing that?
She had a license. She had a licensed winery, and she was making wine. Then she got a divorce or started a divorce. She's still not legally divorced yet. They've been battling over it.
It sounds like you could kind of incorporate the two
well,
and bring her into the fold.
we've discussed it, and it's definitely a possibility.
That is awesome.
and we would be really the only place in town that has both.
That would be awesome. That would be a
Get you back on.
destination to go.
Yeah.
Well, and that's kind of what we want to do. We're trying to make our place stand out a little bit different than most places. So not only like we like to brew the beer and
Like to drink it.
we like to drink it. We have an outlet for some pretty good wine. But my oldest son likes to brew sodas.
Oh, Jesus.
So we're dabbling in that also. So
you
we want to
you
have our
could-
own.
You could get everything.
His son did a dreamsicle soda that we put alcohol to.
We ferment
Like a seltzer.
No,
It was
It
a
was a
soda.
soda,
Wow.
It was just a plain old orange cream
So-
soda.
and it was
So-
8%.
Knowing Carlisle, so you got a brewery, Back Porch. You could have your girlfriend's winery. I don't know what the name of it is. You could have the soda, because soda shops, I mean, that's how Coke started.
Yeah.
You weren't buying Coke in a can or a bottle. You went to a soda shop to
Right.
get it poured. And then, you got Grand Illusion, the cidery. You could have all four. You could be a unique destination in Carlisle.
That's what we're striving for.
That is fucking awesome. I'm sorry to say. I'm dropping the fucking F-bomb.
So we've done some root beers. We've done an adult root beer. We've done the adult cream soda.
Wow.
And we've done just a regular old sarsaparilla also. And everybody,
Oh, man. Sarsaparillas are awesome.
everybody that's tasted it was like, "Oh my god, you guys got to do this."
So that you've done this for yourselves right now, but
Yes.
you haven't put it out yet.
Nope.
No.
But it's something that you're intending to do. You know what you could do is you can invite the three of us up, and we'll give you our opinion too.
We'll give you our untapped rating.
Well, we may have to do that. Yeah, absolutely.
We would love to come see your place once it's open. I tell you what, you guys. So who put the business plan together? Was it just the two of you guys, or is this just whose dream was it initially, and just kind of brought the other one along, or
Well,
was it both of you?
Initially, it was mine, staring at all this stainless steel equipment, going,
Ooh, nice and
Oh.
shiny.
"Yeah, I would love to brew in it." He's like, "I don't get. Why the hell would you want to do that? Just Miller Lite." But
Or just go down to Beer Stream and buy a 30-pack.
so I think initially it was my ambition, my goal. I would love to do this, and then after Tim brewed his first beer with me, we'd done this, and he was like, "Oh my god, this is really good." And we got to go on some wine tours, and the ladies would drink wine, we'd drink beer, and he'd be like, "Holy shit, you're right. This is like, there's a whole new level of beer that I've been missing." I'm like, "I'm just trying to tell you that."
Yeah, drink tap water.
So his palate has really come a long way, and he's like, "Let's do this. Let's make this happen." And we sat down with my wife and the families, and everybody was supportive, and we said,
That's the biggest part there is if they're supportive of your guys' dream.
Yeah.
"Yeah, it's a huge endeavor. It
is.
takes a lot of our time."
And from sounding what you guys, what little time you had to begin with, it's now
Yeah.
all devoted to this. But
Yeah.
you're chasing what could be what you've always chased, and I think kudos to you guys.
Thank you.
Kudos,
Well, thank you.
because any dream you don't chase is one that's lost. And you're never going to recoup
Exactly.
it. And if you do, like you guys said, you failed a couple times. It's how you get back up, and that's in every endeavor of life. If you fall, get back up and start again.
Yep.
Chase
That's
that dream.
I always said with the COVID thing, I'm always positive. So to me, COVID was a positive thing. Sorry for everybody that lost, but
Absolutely.
it makes you a
Yeah.
stronger person. It makes that plan even stronger.
Yeah.
If you're a strong person, well, I can't do this. Okay, check. Let's do this. Yeah, you know what? We might need A and B, source to help out with this.
Yeah.
To make you that,
Yeah. Yeah, Tim and I are both, we both have the work ethics of we don't quit. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we're not turning back.
And
Like,
I
you-
don't fail.
Right.
so,
And if you do, every successful business entrepreneur, Trump, anybody, they failed.
absolutely.
It's you learn from your failures, and that's how you progress to become great.
See, I say this, I've said this to several people about failure. I don't believe you should ever fail. If you do something, whatever it is, try and start a business, whatever, try and do your own automotive repair, and it doesn't work, okay? Did you learn something from it?
Yeah, it's a presentation.
Better,
If you did, you did not fail, okay?
Right.
So people use failure too nonchalantly,
right.
okay? Have we made some bad beers? Yeah. Was that a failure? Not in my eyes, because we knew what we did wrong.
We figured out what we did wrong.
So
Don't do that
Don't do
again.
it again.
exactly. So it's not really a failure.
Right.
Well, the light bulb. How many? It was 100. Was it? How many times did he fail before he actually had one that worked?
Yeah.
We wouldn't have a light bulb. WD-40.
Yep.
Water displacement. The 40th try is when it works.
Yep.
Yeah,
So you keep learning and you keep progressing
that's right.
every step of life. And kudos to you guys. We've talked about this. Like this podcast was my idea. Why can't we turn our monthly beer drinking nights into a talk show?
I think it's pretty awesome that
I
you
love
guys
it.
do this.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah.
So we did, and have we failed? Yeah, but we're learning every time we make a mistake not to do it again.
So then you didn't fail.
No.
We've learned.
You've
You
learned.
You made a mistake.
We've fallen and we got back up.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, we've learned a lot. There's a
learned
lot of times we learned.
There were some times we had to just go up and drink beer.
That's
Hey, you
not
know.
a bad thing, is it?
No, it's never
the-
a bad thing.
Where's the downside of that?
Yeah.
Yep. So, guys, I commend you guys for chasing a dream because with us doing kit brewing, I kind of have this in the back of my head. I'd love to have a brewery too. I still have an eye on this building down here in Wagglestown.
You and your building.
That would probably never happen because of the township that we live in. But B, it would just be a great dream. And getting to know people in this community would be a huge help. So kudos to you guys.
Well, I can give you a great lesson on code compliance and what it takes to get permits
Yeah.
to do your brewery.
I'm pretty sure he's like an expert now.
I
with all this
joked.
stuff.
I joked with my girlfriend. I said, when we're all done and in, I'm starting a consulting firm for anybody that wants to start up a brewery,
That
and renovate a building.
That will help pay for your new one.
And listen, if you want to take the next step into all grain brewing, maybe, and you guys also, maybe we can do a collaboration once we get opened up, and you guys can come in. We can put our minds together.
That sounds
and
great. Because I'm going to give you a bottle of our beer that we just bottled. It was a kit, Brewer's Best, and we did our live video.
Yeah.
I brewed. It was a beer I brewed on Memorial Weekend. Like, I'm going camping for 4 days. I need something to do, so I brewed a beer, Imperial Nut Brown Ale, which is becoming some of my favorite. The red ales that you guys had before and the brown ales are becoming some of my favorite.
Good brown ale is hard to beat.
Oh, I love it. So we tasted it the night we bottled it, and I think it's gonna. I didn't mess this one up without my guys, so we bottled it. I'll give you guys a bottle to take home. It's just a kit, but I think it's gonna come out pretty good. But there's some of my favorites. Another one that I think is lost. It's not around. It's an English style bitter, an ESB.
Yep.
We just talked to Brooks Haymeyer about one, and he has a very good one. He's thinking about redoing it. It might be just throwing this little style out there that's kind of lost its.
So
That would be the great collaboration beer for me.
Well,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I was just going to say that because it was like in the beginning, everybody was, I don't want to say secretive, but, yeah, we talk, but, it seems like the last 3 or 4 or 5 podcasts, everybody's collaborating on this.
Yeah.
Whether it's a slushy, or a
Who
beer.
cares? Let's just make a good beer.
Make a good
Damn
beer.
right.
Make a good beer.
Exactly.
Damn right.
I'm up for that. So yeah, guys, you got any last comments? Because I'm getting a little parched here to cheers this out here, and I don't want to end it too soon. But this has been a great conversation.
Yeah. This is fun.
Kevin, Dave, any last comments, questions?
No, I'm intrigued. I learn a lot from every podcast. It's really the big thing that I like about it is the fact that the information that our guests bring to us is invaluable, and it's things that we don't understand, haven't learned. And I tell you what, I've learned a lot tonight. On how to set up your back porch brewing. No,
And how to get federal permits.
getting federal permits and getting the government to look at you a lot. But no, it's very interesting. Very interesting.
It's definitely a journey. I wouldn't go back and say I wouldn't do that again.
Yeah.
Well, you're chasing
I
it.
wouldn't
You
change
say
a
you've
thing.
been doing this for like 15 years?
Yeah.
Kit brewing and
Kit brewing.
home brewing.
Yeah.
So you're chasing a long-term dream, a hobby that you want to turn professional.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. And you're just bringing your best friend along. Now, how long have you? I don't think I asked you. How long have you guys have been best friends?
Taking all my questions.
Oh, dude, I'm sorry.
Wow. How long has it been?
So we both met through an acquaintance.
That'd have
My
been,
gosh, I don't
that was
know.
Juniper Streets. That was 90, 94, 95? Somewhere in that neighborhood. I
had
bought
to
it in 93. And I know it wasn't right when we bought the place. It was probably like
So-
right around 95.
And we've met each other because of some pretty good weekend parties.
Drinking beer.
Absolutely. But then I was drinking Miller Lite.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were having quite a few before you actually felt the repercussions
Exactly.
of it. Okay.
Yeah. I used to brag. I could drink a 30 pack at the races in the night. Oh, yeah, it's water.
Yeah.
I still couldn't drink a 30 pack of it. I'm sorry.
I tried that. I tried that at a race one time with craft beer. Oh, that did
That-
not work out well.
No, I think we had to put him to bed that night.
so
We've put Brett to bed.
yeah. My last episode was our motorcycle. I'm in a motorcycle riding club. I'm president
Oh
of it.
my God, this story.
And
York's
we
Hells
have our
Angels.
Christmas party, and I had a bad week to begin with. Just an awful week at work. I'm not in the greatest mood when I go to this Christmas party. Can't get my video to work because I do an end-of-year video of all our pictures. There's like 800 to 1,000 pictures in this video. Can't get it to work right, so I'm just start drinking. I took like 7 craft beers, and my last one was the Shirtless Dictator, and it was a Crowler. They're stout. They're barrel-aged stout. Later in the night, I was like, I don't remember the end of the movie. I don't remember pulling a Christmas gift off the table. I remember somebody asking me, "Am I okay in the bathroom?" And I kind of remember Kevin helping me in and out of the car. That was all I remember.
I've had those nights.
Yep. It had been that was pretty bad. I won't get into the details of the in between stuff, but yeah, it was a pretty bad night. So yeah, I can't drink a 30 pack.
Rememberable.
No, I just
No, I forget, except
Yeah.
for those 4 things. So go ahead, Kev.
No, I just want to say that, it's amazing how friends can become family and work together and just collaborate and
Yep.
get the dreams to become one. And I'm sure there's behind the scene things that, sometimes don't work out, but at the end, it's about what the customer thinks.
Exactly.
And
Yeah. I mean, we try to make good beer, but at the end of the day, it's what people think about the beer.
right.
Like they gotta buy it. They gotta drink it.
Yeah, you're not making it just for you. If you're going to professionally, you're making it to sell and make a profit on it.
Yep.
And if it doesn't sell, then you got to rethink and come up with something new.
Yeah.
Right.
That's every aspect of business.
Yeah.
Dave, any last comments?
no, not
That's the last comment.
what's not since the last comments, but yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah. The
I got
last
into a little story and I forgot.
the last set of comments. That's okay. It's
That's
the beer.
the last of
you
the
know.
last comments.
But no. It's just that I just want to reiterate that the fact that I enjoy like I had said, there was a couple of them where I just stood there. A couple of our podcasts that we've done with guests, and I just sat there and just went, didn't say much, just because they just overwhelmed me with information. It's
Right.
just, we get the information from you guys.
It
No
is.
one wants to hear me talk. We want to hear you guys talk. So
We're
that's
here to make sure you guys
Yeah.
are forefront and center.
yeah.
Well, we appreciate that.
Yep. So tell us one last time where they can find you guys, where your tap room's supposed to be open, website, anything. Let us know where they can find you.
Okay. Well, we're on Facebook and Instagram. It's at Back Porch Brewing Inc. As far as our beers, we have them at Hook and Flask Distillery in Carlisle. All of these are in Carlisle. Market Cross Pub and Brewery, North Hanover Grill, Castles in Mount Holly, and the Whiskey Rebellion in Carlisle. We're renovating a property at 133 North Hanover Street.
There we go.
Hope to be open end of October, beginning of November.
All right, so that sounds good. Gentlemen, before we get into this last beer, I want to thank you guys again for sitting down with us. This all came from Michael and Sharon from Gems Farm. We appreciate that, this opportunity to get to meet you guys, get to focus on what you guys have done, and so far 3 great beers that I'm definitely going to be looking to purchase and
nice.
keep here.
Three so far.
3 so far, I said.
Right.
And we appreciate you having us.
Yes,
we
thank
really
you for
do.
having us.
So before we get into this cheers beer, look us up on Central PA Pour at gmail.com is our email, at Central PA Pour on our social. Follow us on YouTube. Give us a like. We're trying to grow that network. We're kind of still new at this. We're looking to wrap up. We're going to call it a season 1. We do got some upcoming guests that we're looking for. We're going to continue some live episodes on Thursday nights on a more continuous basis. Try and get that going as well. Great. This is
Pour.
Yeah, Central PA Pour, CPP, man. So if you're around, I'm going to let you guys describe our cheers beer before we end this thing. So what is our 4th and final beer?
So our 4th and final beer is what we call, it's an amber lager. It's what we call North Mountain Lager because we're located right along the North Mountain. It is a full body, just a really refreshing beer, I think, for a lager.
Yeah.
Almost looks like a Sam Adams.
So
No, I'm just saying the coloring of it.
So again,
you can slap it if you want.
again,
I know we're off the
Yingling
hill.
Lager is where I like that was my go-to beer.
Yeah.
So I said, let's brew something like a Yingling Lager, but I wanted to make it. Yingling
Better.
Lager has a little bit of a bitey on the back end,
Back end, it's a little dry on the bite. Yeah.
and I wanted to take that out of it, and I think we have done it.
I can't wait
Nailed
to taste
it.
this one. Nailed it.
So you guys,
Mic drop.
tell
This-
us. You
this
guys
beer-
tell us what you think.
This beer here is our #1 selling beer.
So this sounds like it's going to be a staple
We
as
have
well.
we have
Yeah.
3 of our 7 fermenters dedicated to nothing but lagers,
Wow.
Oh, that's awesome.
just to keep up with sales.
So this is the North Mountain Lager from Back Porch Brewing. So, gentlemen, again, I thank you for sitting down with us and the CPP crew. If you're out there, you pick up a beer and join us, the CPP crew, and Back Porch Brewing, and let's all be bonded by beer.
Cheers.
Cheers.